Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
Welcome to the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have the man at Dark Pool Trading, the man himself, Carl Dean. Carl, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, well, thank you for having me. So I am a trader. I trade quite heavily in the U.S. stock market. I have been for well over 25 years. And I have a background in finance and I have a background in engineering. So engineering is sort of where I started my journey. It allowed me to seed my trading and get the capital that I needed to become successful at that. So I started fairly early in my early 20s, and I started with engineering. And engineering in Alberta is very up and down. It's bubbles all over the place. You can make a lot of money, but then there is no money. So I always figured that I'd probably need a plan B, and that plan B came in the form of trading the market. And I started out. It was kind of rocky. I didn't have a whole lot of capital to start, so you struggle along and you take a couple of courses here and there, and you work your way through it and learn as you go, and that's what I did. And I was lucky enough to pick it up quite quickly and take part in, for good or bad, in the financial crisis. So I took about a week or so off of my engineering job to short the banking stocks and the mortgage companies that were failing at that time. And then I went back to work, and I had talked about trading a lot with my colleagues, and they were quite interested in what I did. So I sort of started helping them out and teaching them what I knew. But it was all unofficial. It was just buddies talking over coffee or a bottle of beer or something like that.
Yeah. So what I will say, I'll dig a little bit into that, and I will say, why did you choose, trading in particular? Is it because of, the flexibility of the business model? Did you have a mentor who just, held your hand? Did it fall in your lap? Why stock trading?
Well, the big thing with trading is its flexibility. You could do it at any time. You can do it from anywhere. You can do it from your phone. You can do it full time from a computer. At the beginning, I didn't have a mentor. I had taken some courses, and some of the colleagues that I worked with were into trading at the time. So there was kind of a small group of us that could bounce ideas off of each other, and that's sort of how it started. But yeah, the flexibility is the big thing.
That's amazing. So there's no, emotional story. Oh my, this thing. It's just purely the flexibility. You knew this was an opportunity that you could get into, and you could get yourself a plan B and make your life easier for yourself and your family.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And the earning potential as well. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, the way the economy is, a lot of people struggle even with a full-time job to make ends meet. And I've talked to quite a few people. They'll, get a second job, work 5 or 6 hours in the evening, which, really takes time away from family. But now you're not making all that much. The potential to earn from trading can be exponential.
No, that's true. That's true. I could definitely, relate to that. And what I will say is, what position, you've been making this money from stock trading. You've been doing this for a while. You're relatively successful. What made you decide to get into coaching and helping other people?
Well, I've always enjoyed helping people out, even in my engineering job. I had leadership roles where I could help some of the junior staff. I was also a scuba instructor for quite a long time, and I taught people how to dive, my passion was diving at the time, and I taught people, hey, this is a new world that can be explored. So I really enjoyed that. So after the financial crisis, when everybody in my engineering firm was laid off, I talked people through some of the trading strategies that were working for me at the time, and I kind of enjoyed that portion of it. And we all went back to work, and I continued on my merry way. But it wasn't until COVID that it kind of struck a chord, because now I realized it was just much bigger. COVID affected so many people. There were so many people out of work. I thought, well, what if I took what I know and took it to a larger audience, not just 5 or 10 people in my office, but what if I could take it elsewhere? And I was lucky enough to be approached by a couple of people through LinkedIn, and they liked what I did and asked if I would help them out. And the rest is sort of history. I kind of put some courses together and started taking on students, and it's been going well.
And that's great. That's great. Would you say like social media has been a really big factor for you in terms of like the business in general? Maybe getting leads, you get most of your leads off social media, or referrals, or in the business engineering place? How does that work?
Yes. Yeah, most of it has come through LinkedIn. I mean, I've had a bigger presence on LinkedIn, mainly because of my financial background and my scuba diving background. That's what I had originally started my account for. So I did get a lot of pull from there. I am on other forms of social media. So I do get people that reach out from Instagram and Facebook and that to inquire about my course. Yeah.
But generally it's LinkedIn. What about referrals? You get any referrals? How does that work?
So referrals will come from previous students. They'll talk to their friends and say, hey, go check this guy out. So I've had a few of those, and then colleagues as well. Various projects that I've been involved in. It's one thing I like to talk about a lot. I think having a plan B is something that a lot of people need. Companies these days, the bottom line is very important to companies. And I know a lot of companies out there say, my employees are my greatest assets, but at the end of the day, those assets don't match with the bottom line, then they start cutting those assets. So having a plan B gives that feeling of hope and security. So yeah, I do get a lot of referrals from colleagues.
Yeah, that's great. Having a mix of, where to get your clients from. It's not purely, referrals. You got some social media going on, maybe some marketing. And I think that's great. Would you say, you spoke a lot about giving people this opportunity to have a plan B. Would you say that's one of your goals for 2025, to be able to reach more people?
Yes. Yeah, I really do. I think if I can reach more people and help more people, then that's the big benefit for me. The money from the course or the cost of the course, it's not really that important. I don't need I don't need that. I'm successful in other areas, so it's really just about giving back.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, like, you know, a lot of coaches get to this place in their career where they've graduated, so to say, from wanting the money. The money is no longer a problem. They just purely are focused on giving back and helping as many people as were in their shoes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
how
and
would you, what's your plan in terms of how you looking to do that in 2024, you know, for the sake of the audience and coaches who have similar visions? What kind of insights do you have? What's your plan in terms of doing that?
I think the biggest thing is just spending more time focusing on the social media aspect of, reaching out to more people, trying to provide content that is beneficial to people, especially people learning. And, I've got my work cut out. There is a awful lot of stock related people out there. There's an awful lot of stock related promises that, are really just that, just promises. They're not backed by anything. So, I know I have my work cut out, and, like I said, I'm just in it to help as many people as I can. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a common theme. As I said, you know, there are a lot of coaches who want to focus. They want to focus on helping people, but
Mhm.
they also know that if they want to help more people, they have to focus on social media. But they don't have that expertise, so to say, because most coaches are genuinely, you know, not Gen Z, so to say. So
Yeah.
how does that play out for you? How do you manage the content? How does that work?
Well, I certainly don't post as much as I should. So I try and squeeze it in when I have the time. I'm right in the middle of finishing up another big course. So that's sort of the last peg in the ladder that I need to finish. So managing my social media accounts will be a bigger priority. And I do have help. I get my wife to help me. She's pretty good at doing some of that stuff. So, and it's being organized, just time management and being organized.
Yeah, I think I cut off at I do have help. I think I didn't hear the rest of that.
Oh, yeah, I get my wife to help me out. She's pretty good at that. And then the other thing is just really good time management. Um, scheduling your time. And I do that with my trading as well. I have to schedule my time to do certain tasks to get everything work, because I do have a busy schedule. So yeah, time management is pretty important.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Tell us, you know, about maybe one of your favorite clients and how it felt after you were able to change their lives in terms of giving them this plan B. How will tell us how that went?
Um, Let me think. So I mean, I've got a lot of clients that have had good success, but I had sort of branched out. My daughter is very interested in what I do, and she was always asking me, can you show me? Can you teach me how to do it? So what I did was I actually put together a course for kids, and it's called Stocks for Kids. And I thought, what if I could plant the seed of investment and the stock market earlier in life? Because as adults, we all look at it later on in life. So what I decided to do is I put together this Stocks for Kids course. And then one of my buddies on LinkedIn said, hey, my kid's school is actually interested. Would you come in and teach the class? So I actually went in there and taught this group of elementary school kids how to trade stocks. And it was a very easy strategy. It was really support and resistance and trend lines. So I did this for a group of kids, and then a couple weeks later, I created all of these little certificates for them that said they completed the course, and I took them back in. These kids were so excited to see me, and they talked about stocks, and they talked about the ones they were buying, and all of this. And the teacher said that they were so excited that they had put a weekly stock half hour or hour into their curriculum so that they could all buy and sell stocks and they could talk about it. And they actually were all doing really well. So for me, not downplaying my other students' success stories, but these ones were, little kids, and they were just really excited. So that made a really big impact.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Do you have a particular program for kids right now?
Yeah, it's called Stocks for Kids. There's actually a website called stocksforkids.ca, and the class is in there. And then I do, as part of giving back to the school community, I go in and teach it to classrooms for free. And then they get the course, they get a recording, they get all the material. And then it's a group of them with 10 or 20 kids. And then I just go in and, I think the first one that I did, I think I was in the classroom for 3 hours. So it's not supposed to be that long, but the kids had lots of questions and they were having a good time. So I just stuck it out. But no, it doesn't really, to go back to your question, no, it doesn't change my focus. I just kind of split it. With the Stocks for Kids course, it's all online. So there's slight interaction with the Facebook page, because there is a Facebook group for these kids, should they want to join. And then the adults one, I do more so in the evenings, where I have interactions with one-on-one students that I coach.
I think that's great. And, remember in the beginning when I was saying, is this your happy face? I'm sure when you're with those kids, teaching them, about stocks, I'm sure it's way, way happier than this,
Yeah, it is. Kids do that. They're very genuine. So
yeah.
I
think that's amazing. So what about the business? Are there any lessons you've learned in the business that you're over the years that maybe just shown a little bit more in 2024 that you're willing to either learn from in 2025 and avoid, or there's something you saw in 2024 that you're willing to double down on in 2025? Is there anything like that in particular?
I think the biggest lessons learned, I think, is to just, if I commit to a certain schedule through the week, that I need to stick to it a bit more. Sometimes I've sort of blown off my schedule to do something else. Not that it's a bad thing. Like I'll blow off my schedule to spend time with my kids or whatnot. So, and again, not a bad thing by any means, but I will put off business stuff to do that. So I think it might just need to be better scheduling on my part.
Yeah, that's a big lesson to learn. Anything related to, social media, or is it still the same type of sphere? Just focus on the scheduling, or is there anything else?
I think with social media, I think for me, changing my plans slightly to provide a different type or or more beneficial content, I think, is going to be the thing that I try more this year, rather than last year just posting for the sake of posting.
Yeah, and not to dwell on it a bit, but that's like the number one strategy for organic content, is to give as much free value as you can possibly give, so that people wonder, hey, if this guy's giving this much for free, I wonder how much value is in his paid stuff. This is something that
Yeah.
Alex Hormozi preaches. You heard about him?
No.
Alex Hormozi,
Right.
one of the biggest guys in the social media business space in general. That's amazing. Maybe you need to get me.
Maybe I have,
Hmm.
but yeah, I know the social media side of things could definitely have some more improvement for sure.
Yeah, and that's just a little nugget, here and there. Just focus
Yeah.
on giving value to your audience, and they will see you as sort of like this authority. And definitely from there, you build relationships with your audience, and it's all smooth sailing from there, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this special question. What is something you wish I asked you today on this podcast?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Jeez, I've never been asked that. I've been on a few podcasts. I've never been asked that before. Jeez, let me think here. Where I grew up.
Where did you grow up, Carl?
I actually grew up in South Africa.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a little close to where I'm at right now, because right now I'm back home, in West Africa. So
okay.
I think that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister was born in Johannesburg.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
You don't have an accent though, do you?
Well, no, I was born in England, so we were from England, and then we moved down to South Africa. My dad was in a computer work for a large computer firm, and we moved down there. My sister was born in Johannesburg, and then we moved down to Cape Town shortly after that. So I grew up down there. So there was about 10 or 11, and then we came to Canada.
I think that's amazing. And I got one more question for you. I thought about this when you were thinking about what I would ask you. Is there anything behind the name Dark Pool? Is there anything special? Any story?
Yeah, so it's interesting so if you actually look at the logo, it's a maple leaf, and it's got oil residue on it. So when I actually started, it was supposed to be a little group thing at one of the offices years and years and years ago, and it was actually called Black Money Traders was the name I came up with. And black money was a play on black gold, which is oil money.
Oil, yeah.
So we used the black and white logo, the black tar sands, which is what we were all working on. But then I kind of changed the name because I didn't want it to be misconstrued with anything else. So Dark Pool is actually a way of trading without making your trade shown on the tapes. So you can trade your shares through what are called dark pools, but they're not regulated. So if you don't know what you're doing, it can be a little strange. So I kind of had that as well as dark pools of oil. So it kind of all meshes together.
Okay, so dark pool itself is like a technical term, but you kind of like double entendre it with, a dark pool of oil. Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense. I think this has been great. Where can the people go to find out and, learn more about your work?
So you can either look me up on carldean.ca, and it has links. It has a bit about me there. or if you just want to look at trading courses, just go to darkpooltrading.ca.
Yeah, Carl Dean, that's .ca. That is KARLDEAN for the audience, right?
Yep.
What about the social media? What's the Instagram and what's the LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn is just Carl Dean. And then Facebook, there's Darkpool Trading, as well as I have a page just for me, which is Carl Dean. And on Instagram, it's Darkpool Trader is one of my Instagrams, and Darkpool Trading is the other one.
That's amazing. You got 2 Instagrams. You must be a big boy on social media, no?
No, I think it was just I had started as Darkpool Trader, and then I think one of the somebody had told me, "Oh, you need one for the company as well." So it just means more work.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and I think this is a good place to say goodbye, man. And I think this has been amazing when telling us a little bit more about stocks trading. We get a lot of coaches on here talking about different things. I got a guy on here before speaking about forex, crypto trading. So I think it's a great for the audience to get a little bit more insight on different types of trading. Is it any similar?
Yeah, because I do forex and crypto, but most of my stuff is U.S. stocks. But yeah, the patterns are the same.
Well, so yeah, this has been great. It's been great having you on, Carl, and see you again sometime.
All right, thank you so much.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?